Welcome to the Poproast podcast. Oh, here we go, everyone. It's one of those days. It's the Poproast podcast. We're flipping everything backwards. World is upside down. We are getting into the climax of spooky season. We're nearly there at the edge, everybody. And who better to lead me over the cliff than my co-host George? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I just realised my headphones are not plugged in.
Well, I can hear you. So fuck what anyone else.
Like I was like, I can't hear my ears.
No, you want it right in there. You want the direct inject to the fucking eardrum. Otherwise, what's the point? Because so much could get lost in translation unless you're getting it right from the source, baby. Right from the source. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
He's got nothing. Making me look bad.
Lucozade.
It's fine. He's on the Lucozade. He's a smart man. He's got to keep up those electrolytes. You know, he's been a busy boy. He's been traveling around. He's been doing stuff, I think, or he's about to be doing stuff, I think. I don't know what his schedule is. What's going on with you?
Yeah, not much, man. I don't actually feel like total death for once. Physically.
Mentally, I'm just dead.
I'm just crumbling. I'm good. Yeah, I went to London over the weekend on Sunday to see some bands with our mutual friend Kiefer. I lost my debit card.
You lost your debit card.
Oh, get this. I actually had, a half decent human being reached out to me, not only through Facebook, but also Instagram, saying, "What's your unique name?" And I'll let you know I found your card at East Finchley. And I was like, oh, that's a, nice of them to reach out, but I didn't have time to pick it up off them or anything. And I'd already requested.
Cancelled it.
Yeah.
You've got to cancel them straight away these days because them contactless limits keep going up. Yeah, so somebody can just pick your card up and just spank out £100 right there, like on the spot. No numbers, no ID, no nothing. I mean, it's a lot of effort for him to I don't know how many people there are with your same name. Maybe your surname probably narrows it down a bit. It's not as common, but good stuff. You must have just scrolled through Facebook and there's 20 people with the same name. And he's like, which one of these looks like the most likely to have been at a metal gig? And then he's had to narrow it down. And it's like, which
just on the tube though, on like a Sunday afternoon. It wasn't after the gig or
okay,
or the gig. I literally got to Camden Station and I was like, "You need your card to tap out," and I was like,
"Oh, mate,
having a fucking laugh."
Shall we get into some stuff?
I guess we should. Yeah,
we'll get into some stuff. So a few little news tidbits. Not a great deal going on, but there's some stuff to touch on. Matthew Vaughn is out doing promotional stuff for his new movie Argyle that is coming out soon. We talked about that probably off the show, not on the show, but it sounds good. It looks good. I'm a big fan of him as a director, and he's kind of he's not popping off per se, but he has thrown out some little barbs here and there. Yeah, he's generally quite an opinionated bloke. I'm a big fan of most of his films, and sometimes I'm not a fan of him as a person. He can kind of be a bit too outspoken for his own good, comes off a bit arrogant. But this week,
remind me what he's done. Sorry.
So Matthew Vaughn, director, he did Layer Cake. Before that, he was a producer for Guy Ritchie. He produced Lock, Stock and Snatch and those films. Then he branched off. He directed Layer Cake. He directed Stardust. He did Kick-Ass. He did X-Men First Class. And then he did the Kingsman movies. I think that's about all of them. Most of these I really like.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah. What's he saying?
He's coming out. He's saying so he was originally supposed to direct X-Men 3, and then he dropped out at the very last minute, and for what was the classically described as creative differences. But he's now come out and he said that when he walked into the producer's office, they had a script that was about double the size of the script that he had. Bear in mind, he's supposed to be directing this. So he says, hey, what's that other script? They're like, don't worry about it. He's like, I'm the director. I will fucking worry about it. So it turns out that this extra large bumper edition of the X-Men 3 script was filled with extra scenes designed to get the actors to sign on to the movie, even though the studio had no intent of paying to film any of these scenes. They said, oh yeah, we've got a scene in here set in Africa because we want Halle Berry to come back on and she won't sign on without this, and we're not going to film it, just pull it in there, and when she's in the movie, just don't do it.
Fucking hell.
And it's like,
bastards.
This is a real candid insight into the inner workings. But let's be honest, are we really surprised that this kind of stuff is going on?
To an extent, no, but going that far, I don't know. I guess they were.
And who's writing that? Is it the executives who are writing it? Did they bring on a writer who's not the writer of the movie just to be like, hey, we want you to write a scene that might get Academy Award winning Halle Berry to sign onto this movie, just so we've got her in the movie, and then we're going to make it dog shit. It is dog shit, by the way. Fuck you, Brett Ratner, who replaced Matthew Vaughn. But so Matthew Vaughn's like, no, that's some shitty tactics. Fuck you, I'm out. And he walked away from the movie based on that, to which he was told that you'll never fucking work in this town again, Buster, or whatever it is they said.
Buster.
And then, yeah, I don't think they said Buster. I added that part in, But, that was on my extra script that I added on there to get me to come and do the podcast. I've got to have Buster in every show from now on. So
I'll bear that in mind when I write the extra script. Yeah, next time.
Yeah, you got it, Buster. So he was told that it'd never work again, and then he said that guy was a fucking prick, absolute arsehole. But apparently, to his credit, he did come up to Vaughn some years later after, a run of successes, and he's like, I didn't really mean what I said. That was a good movie. Like, yeah, of course you didn't. Of course you fucking didn't. Yeah, so he's coming out, he's saying stuff. He's saying that he wants to reboot Star Wars, which everyone's going, no, you can't do that. And it's like, well, why can't you do that? Because you're tied down to all of this bullshit that you have to kind of tiptoe in between and, please everyone. And plus you've got to stick to the canon and everything. He's like, just give me Star Wars, I'll fucking reboot it. So the balls on this guy, you might have seen what's happened on the internet to other people that have taken part in Star Wars over the last few years.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a few bits.
Right.
Some guys.
You take away or replace your Luke and your Leia and your Han and your Chewie with new actors, and that's not going to go down well. Nah. But then I thought about it. I'm like, he might be right, That might be the only way to really kind of elevate it.
That's what a lot of those franchises that everyone loves. It's the same old characters, and eventually it's going to get old.
Of course it is, and the actors are going to get old or die. Exactly. People die.
Yeah, you got to move on. But saying that every fucking successful franchise is kind of stuck with what they've.
It's like. Yeah, and even if you do move on, that's not always the end these days, because now you're like, we're going to move on, and in 5-10 years, what if we bring back the old version and the new version, and we have all the versions? Then you've got a fucking requel, prequel, fucking in-between-quel situation coming on, looking at you, Halloween, and then you end up with even bigger mess than what you kind of started off with in the first place.
Yeah, that's the one that springs to mind anyway.
Yeah, of course. Last thing, he said that he's they're planning to do another Kick-Ass movie. It's not going to be a sequel, and it's not going to be a reboot. So I'm intrigued because I really fucking love those movies, and they did a reboot of the comics a few years ago. Again, not really a reboot, but just like a side different story that they kind of branched off with. And I hope that's good. I hope this Argyle movie is really good. It sounds great. It sounds like Stranger Than Fiction, but with spies and espionage and all that kind of stuff. So I want this to be good. And I want him to do good movies because he has the absolute potential to do good movies. Oh, and he also said that he's been speaking to DC about some potential projects. He pitched a Superman trilogy to them like 15 years ago. Warner Bros were like, nah, we don't want that. And then they did the other movies that they have done to varying levels of success. And he didn't get to make his Superman trilogy, but apparently they're eyeing him up for something. The rumors I've heard is that he's in talks to direct The Authority, which is a super team that they announced they were going to do a movie for last year when they had James Gunn take over the DC production plaza or whatever. The Authority is fucking great, and the reason I'm bringing this one up is because I said to you last week that I'm going to start recommending you some comics, and this is absolutely going to be the top of the list. The Authority are like they're like a group of crazy powerful like lunatics who are like put themselves in charge of like protecting and kind of policing the world. They have a big giant like spaceship and they float like in orbit around the earth, and they don't give a fuck about like international relations, about like borders and boundaries and red tape. They're just like, those people are killing people, we're going to kill them. It's like that country's threatening to kill that country, we're going to go kill them first. Like they just do not give a fuck. And some really weird characters. The main two guys is two characters called Midnighter and the Apollo, and they're basically like analogies for Batman and Superman, apart from they're a gay couple, which is really fun. So you just imagine like all that sexual tension with a Batman and a Superman, but now they're actually like married and they're bickering while they're like saving the world together and stuff. It's really fun. There's a character called Jack Hawksmoor, and he's the god of cities, and he has the power to control cities, which is just you can't really describe it. It can't even explain to you how that works, but he's in a city. He's the city. He's got eyes and ears everywhere. He can make the streets and the buildings move.
It sounds like the urban version of Swamp Thing.
Very much like an urban Swamp Thing. Yeah, exactly. So there's some really wild out there characters. And you know how like in a Spider-Man comic, he'll be on his way to like fight Electro and then he's got to like stop a bank robbery. Well, these guys will be on their way to like stop a nuclear warhead threatening terrorists. But on the way to doing that, they get attacked by alternate universe 17th century English fucking royalty that have also been in litigation with an alien race, and they've got crazy super technology, but they're like old English gentry from the fucking 17th century. Like, and that's just a side story on the way to like the main story. It's absolutely insane. So I'm hoping that's what he's directing, because his style would fit perfectly for that. Hopefully we're going to get more of this kind of comic book news and some of the just general like production news when they start paying the actors what they want, what they need, what they're asking for. They're not being unreasonable. AMTP, Patu, whatever you are, you're the fuckos. Okay, sort it out. Moving on. We got some images for The Last Airbender. You familiar with The Last Airbender, George? I think it was Nickelodeon, the cartoon.
Yeah.
Or animated series. I'm sorry, everyone.
I never really watched it. myself. So
me neither. It's something that I would probably love. A lot of people love it. Has an absolute rabid fan base, and they release some images. They're doing a new Netflix live action adaptation of this, and everyone's praising it. So it looks so like real and tangible, and it looks like they're finally getting it right. I've only put this on the list here for one reason, and that is so I can drop my hot take of there is nothing wrong with the fucking Last Airbender M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's fine. Anime fans, it's fine. Stop being so pedantic. Okay, it's a perfectly serviceable adaptation of that world of the show that I said I haven't seen, but I know the fucking basic lore. The four nations, the elements, they're at war. There's a kid, he's got all the powers, whatever. It's fucking fine. It's a good movie, and hate on me. Comment, tell me why I'm wrong. Fucking bring it on. Last Airbender's a good movie.
Don't know,
and
man. Don't know.
It looks better. It looks better than what this show looks like. And we've only seen images, but at least it was colourful. It popped. This one is just like, oh, okay, I guess everyone wears brown and grey. That's fine. Like, where's the wonder of the cartoon? I mean, animated series. Bring it on. Anyway, we're probably not going to watch it, but
I can't
just
comment
got to
on
get
that
some
because I haven't seen it. I have it somehow on Blu-ray.
Oh wow!
But yeah, I should probably get around to that at some point.
Maybe we'll have a little rewatch of that before this show comes out, depending on what else is going on that week or that month. Yeah. Maybe we can do something around that. It's so hard to think of these things because we're so neck deep in spooky season right now. We've been doing a lot of spooky stuff. That's why I wanted to try and sprinkle some of this other stuff in there. A little bit of news, not much, just wet the whistle and get you ready for some scarier shit coming up later. We are, by the way, going to be talking about It Lives Inside. We're going to be talking about Barbarian. We've got some recommendations coming up for you for spooky season at the end of the show. But before we get to all of that, talking about old franchises coming back with sequels and requels and all of this stuff. And this is a bit of a spooky one. It's a bit of a science fiction-y one. But we are long overdue for a new Alien movie, in my opinion. A good new Alien movie. And we've got some rough outlines. This is going to be directed by Fede Alvarez, who I'm pretty sure did the Evil Dead remake, the 2013 one, which is fucking fantastic. This guy got a great eye, great style to it. I haven't seen anything else that he's done, but based on that, new Alien, George. You want a new Alien? Did the last one burn you out?
Do you know what? I haven't even seen it.
You didn't see Covenant? I've seen most of it. I think I fell asleep and then woke up and then watched the rest.
I am a fan of the Alien films in general. I don't know what it is like. That's been out quite a while as well.
Covenant, I think, probably came out in I want to say 2017, 2018. I think Prometheus was 2013 or 20 something.
Yeah. I saw Prometheus. I wasn't, I didn't hate it.
It's fine. It's a different kind of movie, but it's fine.
It looked great. It was
it's beautiful. Some really weird decisions from both the writers and the characters in the movie. But that's fine. It had something that it was trying to say. Whether or not it successfully said it or not is up for debate. But at least it took a swing, which not a lot of people liked. So the studio were like, make it more like the other ones. So that's where Covenant came in, and they're like, well, we better make this just jump scares, face huggers, people running around with space rifles. or whatever, and it was just a bit bland. Exactly what you'd expect a studio version of like modern Alien to look like.
That's pretty much what I heard, and I was just like, I'll get round to it at some point, and I just haven't. But like Fede, is it Fede Alvarez?
Fede Alvarez.
Yeah.
Correct me in the comments.
Yeah. No, I've seen what else he'd written. A couple of other things. Don't Breathe.
Oh right, yeah. I haven't seen that, but that was quite good apparently.
Go in the Spider's Web. But yeah.
Directing. Okay, and that was one of the what's it called? The Dragon Tattoo Girl. That's one of those movies, right? Girl in the Spider's Web. Girl who kicked the hornet's nest or whatever. It's one of those, I think. Right.
I didn't know he wrote the Texas Chainsaw remake most recently.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So,
but, I'm here for it.
We're definitely here for it.
I'll watch Covenant first, I guess.
Yeah, probably watch that as well. So, so Fede Alvarez finished writing the script. He said the first person I want to show this script to is the man himself, Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott, of course.
And Ridley Scott says, and I quote, "It's fucking great." Now he might be a little bit biased, and there's been a tumultuous history. We spoke about this a bit last week, I think, or the week before, of directors from franchises coming out and backing the new version, even though they know it's dog shit. And then 6 months after the film comes out, they're like, yeah, that was just bullshit. I was just promoting it. And so, yeah, like basically, like James Cameron will say that every new Terminator movie is great, and Ridley Scott will say that every new Alien movie is great. To be fair, he makes them, so of course he's going to say they're great. I don't think he made all of them. I don't think he made 3 and 4. But other than that, there's some hope here to be had. And Fede Alvarez, that Evil Dead movie is fucking terrifying. It's grimy and nasty, and I can't wait to see what he does with hopefully some of that flavor in space, because that's where you need your grime the most, everyone. So yeah, watch this space for a face hugger near you. Can't wait.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go from big studio, big budget horror movies to some lesser known horror movies, which we like to cover here. We like to sprinkle a bit of that spotlight on some of these other people here making movies, and we've got When Evil Lurks, which is a demonic, quote unquote, demonic possession movie. It's from an Argentinian filmmaker. Where's the name? I'm gonna butcher this. I'm sorry, everyone.
I'll let you take it.
Demian Rugner.
It's not too bad.
It's not too bad, says the two white guys that, don't know any better. So this one is getting a lot of like notoriety around it. Some might say controversy. And it focuses on these two brothers who find that there's somebody who's living near them, that something ain't right. They don't trust this guy or this person. So probably some heavy social, political overtones here. And this movie is holding a near perfect 98% on Rotten Tomatoes so far. That's the critic rating. And in a wild twist, because usually the audience rating 9 times out of 10 is higher than the critic rating, right? Especially for horror and genre films. But this has got 98% critic rating and a 57% from the audiences. And from what I'm understanding here, a lot of that's got to do with like there's a lot of gore, a lot of really uncomfortable, nasty shit in this movie. So, sign us up. You know what I'm saying?
I'm here.
Like, When Evil Lurks. There is a trailer for this. I didn't even know there was a trailer for this until I was rechecking the article before we started doing the show, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to watch this because I want to go in and be surprised, and also I don't have time. So I can't wait.
If you find a release date for it,
I will have a look. Do I have a?
Of October. It says it released the 6th of October. I'm guessing.
I thought it was coming to Shudder.
Right.
It says here that it will be available on Shudder on Friday the 27th of October. Whether or not that'll be Shudder International or just US,
I would assume so.
I would, because it's a foreign film, so you would assume that it would be an internationally available thing, and I hope so. You know, because need to be scared, man. I don't want to tip the hat too much about later things that we're going to talk about, but I need something to be really fucking horrible.
Yeah, I just want to mention it real briefly, just because I was chatting to very briefly about the Manfish that's on Shudder. The
Manfish
comedy horror. Yeah, I'd say it's definitely worth checking out for a laugh. I'll leave it at that for now.
What half is the man? What half is the fish? Is it like a fish head with a man body, or is it like a merman situation, or is it just a man who likes cod? I don't know.
I'm not going to spoil it.
Not going to spoil it.
Just
okay,
it's Gilman-esque. So
Gilman-esque. So maybe like a creature from the Black Lagoon or something, but with some sort of satirical modern twist. There we go, everyone. I've just saved you the Shudder subscription. Don't even need to see it now because I just fucking cracked the code.
To see it.
We do need to see it. We are absolutely going to watch this. Well, I am. You've already watched it, but me and everyone else who's here watching, we're all going to watch it together. You're all welcome, everyone. On Shudder. Get round and let's get it on. What's next? Exorcist crossed 100 million, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You haven't seen this yet, right?
No. Still not in a rush. But that's mainly because it's not in any cinemas near me, which is the same as, unfortunately, It Lives Inside. Wasn't that the Odeon?
Yeah, that sucks.
But yeah, 100 million.
It's making decent money. I mean, it cost like less than 10% of that to make, I think, or
despite all the negative reviews.
Despite all the negative, well, it's a big name.
It's a
big name. It's like one of like the names of like prestige horror films. This isn't prestige horror film, but it's got the name, so you know. And Mama Dean went to see it. She finally went to see it. She texted me this morning. She's like, I went to see The Exorcist. I said, did you have a good time? Because I couldn't say, is it good? You what?
Where did she see it? In Clacton?
That's a good question. I didn't ask.
Anyway,
sorry. You missed out. Could have gone on a date with Mama Dean. But I couldn't say, don't say no. It's fine. I approve. But you don't have to hide your love just to make me feel comfortable. But yeah, so I couldn't say, is it good? Which is normally what I would say. Somebody says, oh, I saw a movie. I say, oh, is it good? Because I've already seen it and I already told her that I didn't like it. I said, did you have a good time? She said, yeah, I had a good time. I said, that's good. She said, yes, it is. And that's the end of the conversation. So you could see where I got my in-depth movie discussion skills from. You know, apple don't fall far from the tree. And, you know, whatever The Exorcist said about your mum, it's not true. Anyway. Not for mine. She's never been with a man. So, moving on swiftly.
This is Immaculate Conception.
Immaculate Conception. Just one day there was a woman. She ate an apple or something because the snake said, don't eat the apple. She's like, you know what? That looks like a nice apple. I'm going to eat that apple. And then the Poproast podcast just fell out immaculately, and here we are, everyone. That's how we were born. We didn't even conceive this podcast. It just, it just fell out like a Russian doll situation, or one of those little gooey aliens. You remember those?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, fucking horrible things. Speaking of fucking horrible things, Taylor Swift is outgrossing a lot of movies this year at the box office. This fucking Eras thing, man, is making it's like 200 million plus, like, in the box office, which is more than all of the DC movies that have come out this year. So that's, Flash, Shazam, Blue Beetle. Who would have thunk? Here comes Tay-Tay to take your box office away or whatever. And
stop giving her money, people.
She's fucking
stop it.
I was going to say she's rolling in the deep, but that's not her song, is it? No, she's rolling in the fucking cash.
I don't mind Adele.
There we go.
Fine.
Yeah, we're slowly cracking the case here. We got George on the Adele train. No Tay-Tay, but we're gonna have him fucking bop into Scooter in no time. I promise you that, everyone.
Oh yes.
We just got to soften him up, okay? It can't be all, metal at Moorgate every week. Like you got to.
I was in the Roundhouse, by the way, and they fucking played. It's funny you say that. All the music in between every fucking metal band, it was all like
not metal.
No, it was all Venga Boys, fucking like.
Whoa! Yeah, let's have some fun.
You heard the fucking Venga, that. You heard the horn, and like the whole crowd is just shouting along. A bunch of metalheads just screaming Venga Boys at the top of their lungs.
The lines are blurred these days because is it ironically, or because a lot of people.
I genuinely do enjoy some shitty dance music, ironically, but at the same time, like those are the sort of tunes we heard when we were kids, and that's a lot of most kids. I
started listening to Venga Boys ironically, and then it wasn't that long until it's like it's not ironic anymore. I'm just this is my jam, this is my vibe. Here we go. Venga Boys would do the Aqua.
Mate, I had a 5.
We do the Gina G.
Remember 5?
Oh, mate.
5 will make you get down.
I want it now, baby. Yeah. That's them, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
good stuff.
That's the thing. My house was like, my parents were into like rock and metal, so the only way to rebel really was to listen to pop and hip hop, rap music and stuff. So that's where I started, and then eventually I just
inverted back the other way. Yeah,
I just accepted it at some point. I was like, all right, give me a guitar.
Fine. I'll be a cliche. I'll be an awesome fucking guitar-y bandy person, and that's fine until a while.
Until the cortisone fucking wears off. And I kill myself after the surgery doesn't work. No, I'm joking.
The surgery will be fine. Thoughts and prayers in the comments for George and his surgery. For just one like, he won't kill himself. There you go. It does not take much, okay? It's not emotional blackmail.
Yeah. I was done with Taylor Swift before we even started. So
before we even started, it was done. I was born done with Taylor Swift. We are never, ever getting back together.
Props to Taylor for being the most successful cult leader ever.
It's a phenomenon. It really is. Like, this is a crazy number for a concert movie, for a concert or a tour that is still like, it's not like this is like an old thing that you can't go and see. This is happening like now. Admittedly, you can't really get tickets for it unless you want to like sell your firstborn. But like, this is a tour that's still going on now. You can go and see it, or you can go and see it in the theaters. Like, fuck, we're selling out so much. Some of this overflow of Swifties, we just got to funnel them into a movie theater, I guess. Like, we just don't know what to fucking do with them. They're everywhere. So absolute give props, and I hope more people take some risks or do some like more like high production like concept movies that aren't just, you know, like middle of the road pop country type stuff. But, you know, I wouldn't mind going to see like, you know, I'd go and see like a Queen archive performance or like an AC/DC or something like that,
Yeah,
you know.
that could be interesting, I guess.
Because I'd rather that than what a lot of these, you know, like legacy bands are kind of doing now. It's like, yeah, just fucking hook me up with a super sweet sound system and a big old screen.
Yeah, show us them in their prime rather than
you know, get me some happy hour prices on the bar. You know, 2 for 1, something. You make a killing. I'll be there for it.
Yeah.
But you know that Taylor Swift concert is like 3 hours and 45 minutes. So that's a hardcore performance, you know. So of course she's going to want to put it on the screen. She's like, I can have a fucking night off, just put this in the fucking theater and I can just chill out for 3 hours and 45 minutes, which is about the exact same amount of time that you're going to need to watch Martin Scorsese's new movie. Killers of the Flower Moon. These segues, they're evolving, they're getting out of control. You know, you spent so much time thinking about, could we? You didn't think, should we? But here we are. So we haven't seen this yet. I'm not sure. I would like to see it. Probably not the kind of movie we would cover. Maybe if there was nothing else going on. Sorry, Marty, we love you. But this is like, you know, an intense fucking political drama about, you know, murder and, you know, pillaging and all sorts of not pleasant things. But have you heard much about this other than the things that you sent me yesterday?
Not really, no, other than that. I might go see it next week. Yeah, what other news did you have? I'm not sure if I read.
Well, not really news, but there was this whole thing going on, and this seems to be doing the rounds quite a bit lately, which is a weird thing to be focusing on, like on a movie's release. But Martin Scorsese's come out and he's saying, you know, I don't know what it was about Leonardo DiCaprio in this movie, but he just wanted to keep ad-libbing. He just kept saying stuff that ain't in the script. And we're all standing there, me and Robbie De Niro, we're all looking at each other, rolling our eyes. It's like, he's adding too much into this movie. He's maybe, you know, and he's, you know, he's an actor, he's an artist, he's trying to express himself and he's trying to like cover all his bases and try different things. You know, this movie is apparently quite broad in scope. So I guess he's trying to be like broad in like, you know, his choices and doing all this kind of stuff. But then I mean, this is Leonardo DiCaprio. He gets off on this kind of fucking method, you know, intense bullshit. But then you read further into this, and apparently the original version of this script was much more focused on the government people and less so on like the Native Americans that are kind of, you know, the main part of this story. It's all about like how these Native Americans had this land that was like rich in oil and it was a really rich and prosperous area to live in, and then there's all this fucking subterfuge of like government and business people were like, yeah, we're gonna like start knocking off these Native Americans and doing dirty tricks to like take the land back and all of this kind of stuff, which was land that they gave to them in the first place because they took their other land away. And then like, oh fuck, we probably shouldn't have given them that land with all the oil, should we? Oh fuck, we got to kill them. So anyway, the original version of the script was focused more on like the business and the government and, you know, the white people, basically.
The American dream.
Yeah, exactly. And Leonardo DiCaprio is like, no, there's no emotional core to this. We need to change the script. So he ordered a rewrite as a part, you know, he's a producer on this as well, I believe. Right. He asked for a rewrite of the script to have a more, you know, emotional element to it. So why are you fucking ad-libbing, Leo? What are you doing? You tell them to change the script and then you don't follow the script that you asked them to change it to. What the fuck are you doing?
I guess he didn't like that script that he asked them to rewrite.
What are you doing? Just don't change the script. Save the pennies. Don't pay the writer. Obviously, pay the writers. But in this scenario, it's okay to not pay a writer, maybe, or just not hire a writer, and then just ad-lib in the dialogue that you want to throw in there. Just do one or the other, man. Come on. Like, it's not enough that you got to fucking, you know, get balls deep in bear shit, like, when you want to win an Oscar. Now you've got to get balls deep in the poor fucking writers and eating everyone's time on set. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Maybe he's overstepping. He's got a bit too big for his.
Yeah, of course he is. I mean, it must be really hard for Leonardo DiCaprio, because if he has a date and he takes her to this movie, by the time the movie's finished, she's too old for him. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, he went low hanging fruit, but
low hanging fruit. What, like a fucking aid? Anyway, it's fine. You enjoy your fruit, Leo. But while we're on the subject of Leo, and we're on the set of Killers of the Flower Moon, here's another little fun little thing that George sent me. I didn't look for this. Okay, I just want to throw this out there. But Leonardo DiCaprio had to wear butt padding because there's a spanking scene with Robert De Niro in this movie, and Robert De Niro was getting into it so much that Leo's like, "You got any padding over there, guys?" Tell you what, take all the extra pages of the script that I asked you to rewrite, put them in there, and then, you know, old Bobby D can smack me around as much as he wants. This guy lived in bear shit for months, and he can't handle a little bit of fucking tap from
spank.
Little bit of spanky. If you want to be in method, you get fucking spanked. Come on, Leo, take it like a man. There we go. That's all I wanted to say. Taking up everyone's time on set, doing extra lines and extra spankings. You reckon he was doing the extra lines on purpose so that they would give him the extra spankings?
I reckon he wanted it. He was after them.
He's a freakster, mate. Absolutely. Yeah. He's a fucking freakster.
Come on, Bobby.
I'm just perusing the article with my eyes here. And also, it does turn out that the spanking scene was not in the original version of the script. So, Leo, put that in there. Jesus Christ. It's not enough that you can't just have a fucking serious drama and talk about some real world geopolitical issues going on. Like, and I'm sure it makes sense in the movie. You know, people in the 1920s, there was some weird, like, old-timey, like, bro culture where maybe a dude at work would spank another dude at work, like, you know, with a newspaper and tell him to, like, pull up his slacks, kid, or whatever, you know. That kind of stuff is probably happening. Do we need it in a movie that's already too long? I haven't seen it. Have you seen it? Let me know. Let us know in the comments. Because are we going to like it? Are we going to enjoy the spanking? Are we going to enjoy the racist murders? Hopefully we enjoy one of them more than the other one, and I'll leave it up to you to decide which one is better. All right.
Are you leaving people to just speculate if we're racist or we enjoy racist murder?
We don't, by the way. We just love a good old spank. There we go. All right. Well done, George. You've outed us. I hope you're happy with yourself. But that's fine. Absolutely fine. We will absolutely cut into a commercial break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about some fucking scary fucking movies. There you go.
All right. In a bit.
A vampire cocktail. You like it? It hates you.
Tonight is your night to give the ultimate sacrifice, my friends.
Don't go away. The fun's just beginning.
We told you we're the Mortems, we love bats and spiders. You know we love to scare outsiders. But more than that, we've gotta come clean. We want to wish you all a happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
Turn it off. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
You heard the man. Stop it. That's it. We're done. No, we're not done. we're absolutely not done. And before we talk about these some of these spooky movies, not the ones you just saw in that classic little reel there put together by this guy here, done a fantastic job. Everyone, give a like and a subscribe just for that alone. It is fucking worth it. I'm telling you, it's only going to get better. More clips, more spooks, more effort until eventually we will be making some effort. Okay. But real quick, where is it? I've got this. So, Mission Impossible Part 7 or 8 or whatever it is came out this year. Dead Reckoning Part 1. There we go. I've got the article. Here we go. So Dead Reckoning Part 1 comes out. Doesn't do very well at all, especially for a Tom Cruise movie, for a Mission Impossible movie. Top Gun Maverick is one of the biggest earners last year. And it's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Okay. So they've announced yesterday that they're changing the title of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2. We don't know what to, but they're changing the title, presumably because this one didn't do that well, and you don't want to have a Part 2 to a Part 1 that didn't do that well, because people would be like, oh, well, I didn't see the Part 1, I won't go and see Part 2, right?
So let's just confuse people into wanting to go watch the second part that they don't know is the second part.
Yeah. So now they're going to go and see a second part of a movie that follows on from a cliffhanger to a movie that apparently not a lot of people went to go and see, not as many as they would have liked. So not only is that confusing, but now you're going to have, for all eternity, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 and no Part 2. Like, are they going to retroactively go back and rename that something else? Because Tom Cruise, you have to run to everyone's house with a fucking Sharpie and draw on your fucking DVD box. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, I just thought that was wild, and I don't care for these movies, but I just can't wait to see how they handle that, because that just seems like such a fucking arse backwards decision.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Did Tom Cruise fucking produce or direct this one? I'm guessing
he doesn't direct them. He's a producer on everything that he does. And yeah, it only made $567 million, George. Only compared to another movie that we're going to be talking about any moment now. Sure. It doesn't seem like a big deal, or maybe it does. And on that note, we're done with the news, okay? We're going to talk about some fucking horror movies. So from movies that make $567 million to movies that make $6 million. And I'm talking about It Lives Inside. So this is spooky, supernatural horror movie written by and directed by another name for me to butcher. I can't keep away from it. I want to say Bishul Dutta. Yeah. Starring Megan Shuri. And this is, I was excited for this one, man. Like we talked about the trailer a few weeks ago on here. Saw the trailer in the theaters a few times. Like it seemed like a small movie. There's no name, either on the title or, in front of or behind the camera that you recognize. Really had a creepy vibe. Didn't really know what it was about. I'm like, this is gonna be the one that's gonna save spooky season. It's gonna bring the chills back to places in my body that are lacking chills as of late. So we focus on young girls, high schooler Samida or Sam. We don't call her Sam, okay? Because some of the people doing the movie, so it's okay for me to abbreviate as well, right? We're friends, me and Sam. Anyway, so it's a kind of a classic tropey kind of story, Indian family, kind of making their way in America, a bit of a culture divide, especially for like a young teenage girl who's, trying to fit in with her peers and also, you know, ruffle the feathers at home too much, you know, on the cultural and religious side of things. And it's established that she was friends with this other girl called Tamira. There we go. And they're not talking so much anymore. We don't really know why. And this other girl is a bit weird. She's kind of very withdrawn, walking around with her ring hair on, you know. Can't see her face, head's hanging low, and she's carrying a jar. What's that about? Why are we carrying a jar? And Sam's like, why are you carrying a jar? She's like, it lives inside. She's like, she fucking said it. There it is. She says it. I love it. I love it when they say the name of the movie in the movie. You know, some do it better than others. This was just the right amount of, you know, kitsch for my palate. So I enjoyed that.
Didn't really answer the question. What's in the jar?
What is in the jar? I'm glad you asked, George. She doesn't know. She doesn't want to tell you what's in the jar.
Lives inside. What's in the jar lives inside the jar.
But then people are giving this girl shit. You're weird. You're walking around with a jar. Eventually, maybe the jar gets broken, or maybe some stuff comes out of the jar that now we have to deal with. Maybe Tamira, who had the jar, goes missing. Now maybe our main character, Sam, who's got to figure out what is going on with my friend, where has she gone now, and what's in the fucking jar. Now, I don't want to spoil this movie too much, but if you're hoping for any answers to those questions, you might come out of this movie feeling a little bit disappointed, George, because we get a good glimpse or a good look at what's physically in the jar, why it's in the jar, where it got in the jar, why are these two girls not talking. To be honest, Sam is a little bit aloof and mean, and I feel like the other girl was much more likable. But then because of the kind of the dynamic of the role that the other girl is playing, she's not doing a lot of like dialogue stuff for you to really latch onto her and like her as a character, right? Because she's all me and my dad or whatever, and she's all moody, which you have every right to be. You're a teenage girl, that's fine. But I didn't feel like we got enough about like what their relationship was like before they stopped talking, why they stopped talking, and then, you know, as far as like the lore and the backstory of the thing that may or may not be in the jar, you know, it all feels like it's tied into some cultural stuff, some like religious stuff that maybe I don't really know about. Okay, but there could have been a bit more. The tone was really cool. It was like kind of like slowy and like Dutch angles and like, you know, like thick reds on the color palette, and, you know, kind of this, you know, like almost like avant-garde kind of Art Deco kind of style. And then it would like every now and then you would kind of get into these really like frantic, like kinetic, you know, scenes and shots that it almost felt like this is kind of like what the Exorcist Believer was trying to do, like where it's just like a really thick, you know, almost nauseating atmosphere, and then just every now and then just get smacked in the face with like some, you know, colors, and, you know, some like real life ambience or some, you know, some crazy like sound design and, or, you know, visual stuff, which was all fucking great. It looks great. It sounds great. It's really creepy. But I just didn't like the main character that much. And I felt like they should have maybe reversed those roles, because I feel like the main girl probably could have played that creepy loner outsider really well, because we don't like her anyway, because she's being a bit of a bitch. And that's fine. You can be that. You don't have to not be a bitch, but also we need something kind of emotional here to latch onto. I think the lady who plays Sam's mum, she's pretty good. It's a classic, like, Indian parents, the mum wants her to be like more traditional, and the dad's like, oh, maybe, we should let her like off the leash and kind of fit in more, in America and kind of that stuff. So it's a tale as old as time in that regard, sort of just like culture clash, fish out of water kind of story. Maybe there's a boy that she likes. Can she see the boy, both with like her family and also with this other stuff that's going on? Is that going to impact the relationship? Spoiler alert, it totally plays in. Of course it does. Right. Go on.
I was just going to ask, is there, I thought my initial interest was like about this, I thought it was like an Indian demon. It might have just been me looking up things now that I think of it, about like Indian, like Hindu demons and stuff of that nature. Is there much to do with that?
It's all in there. Like, it feels like the people that wrote it, or the person that wrote it and the people that made it, it definitely, it comes across like that's all in their head, like that's all subtextual in the movie,
right?
But maybe some of it could have been pushed a bit more to the forefront, or maybe I'm just some ignorant idiot white guy who just needs other cultures like just explained to me, by like point by point, and maybe I was missing some of the nuance to some of that stuff, but it definitely feels like there's some well thought out authenticity and some genuine like care put into portraying that, like the dynamics and the culture and everything. Seems, as far as my knowledge goes, seems fairly accurate, and it's all engaging. Like, I'm really engaged. I'm just like waiting for, like, I just wanted to go like one level deeper, than what we kind of did. It ends on like sort of like a classic like horror movie cliffhanger. You know what? This plays very much like, almost like if you had like Mean Girls, but it's like a Twilight Zone episode,
Mm-hmm. That's a strange pairing of worlds.
So like Indian Mean Girls meets, or just like high school like drama, like kind of relationship kind of focused stuff, which is fine and it's all good. And also, this isn't really a spoiler, but they do say in the movie, she's like, what's in the jar? I don't know, I can't really tell you that. Why is it in a jar? Well, you need to put it in something. It's kind of what you're told. It's like, doesn't really matter what it's in. It just, this thing that lives inside needs to live inside something, right? We pull it in something. And this thing, apparently, we're quite scared of it. It's quite dangerous. So of all the things, why put it in a fucking glass jar? We're not living in like some medieval apothecary. You could put it in like in a suitcase, or a fucking, like a sealed plastic box. You could put it in the fridge. You could
some Tupperware.
You could put it in fucking lovely airtight fucking Tupperware set. You could have it so it's in the little one, and then you put the little one in the medium one, and then you put the medium one in the big one. You've got 3 layers of living inside. But she's just like, keep it in a jar. It's dangerous, and this thing better not get out. But also, I'm going to keep it in like the most breakable thing, most cumbersome thing. In high school, you think like, what do you think people are going to do? They see a weird girl carrying a fucking jar around. They're going to fucking barge. They're going to shove. You're going to end up flying down some stairs. I'm not saying that does happen in the movie, but just realistically, as far as realistic in our supernatural, horror movie here. But I was just like, in a jar, really? They just seem really, and maybe that's probably connected to maybe like the cultural aspect of it. Maybe the jar is like part of the lore of this thing. But even if that's the case, I don't want to be the white man telling you that you're wrong, but your lore, don't use a glass jar, people. Be smart. Be smart. Bury it in a fucking box, a million miles underground, in the middle of nowhere. Why?
Because
I mean, there are reasons that you need to it does need, you can't just leave this thing. You do need to sort of take care of it to a certain extent, shall we say.
Right. I still feel like I want to check it out.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was tempted to watch it again, to be honest, before doing this review, but I didn't really have the time. Yesterday was a fucking, it was a waste of a day because, maybe somebody got locked out of their flat. If it was a glass jar, I would have just broke right in, wouldn't I? But alas, it wasn't. Yeah, I definitely want to see this again. I would definitely advise people to see this because it's different. The performances are strong. The atmosphere is really well crafted, and maybe there's more layers to be kind of peeled back on repeated viewings. I don't know, but for now, I'll give it a 3 out of 5 jars. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. And like I say, mostly because it was different, well shot, well produced, well acted. It just felt very much like the script could have done with a bit more. It's a bit like student filmy, a little bit too vague, but the other stuff is good enough that warrants giving that a check out. So I would definitely advise everyone to go and check it out, and maybe you can live inside too. Get outside, but then live inside. You know what I mean? So yeah, it lives inside. But you didn't see it lives inside because it wasn't available anywhere near you.
No.
So you saw something else, which I believe has been out for a little while.
It's been out for a year. Yeah,
been out for a year.
I finally checked out Barbarian.
Barbarian. I haven't seen this, by the way.
No. Well, yeah. It came out literally last September theatrically. And then Malignant came out, I believe, like a week or two. It's around September.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for this when I saw Malignant.
See, I didn't see the trailer for either of those films. And I heard, a lot of buzz about both of them. And then I watched Malignant. And I kind of just forgot about Barbarian for whatever reason. And then, I saw that it was on Prime, but it was to buy. But the digital, they've got a version with extra, it's got a featurette, and then it's got the film again with the commentary on it. But it was like $4.99, so I was just like, you know what? I've heard rave reviews for it, and I was just blind bought it. Thought, why not? And as someone, I normally collect physical stuff. This is kind of like the cool, like digital equivalent, I guess, where it's all just in one playable file. Yeah, Barbarian. It's all I knew about it was that Bill Skarsgård and Justin Long were in it.
I think it's Alexander Skarsgård. Is it Alexander or is it Bill? Are they both in it? I thought it was Alexander.
Bill.
It's
guy
Bill.
Who played Pennywise, right?
Okay, it is Bill. Okay, I thought it was Alexander Skarsgård for some reason. I had no idea Justin Long was in this either.
Well, I'd seen some artwork and I saw him on it. And funny enough, he's not in it straight away. There's quite a big portion of the film he's not in. And then at the start, it's hard to get this one without spoiling stuff. So I say you definitely need to check it out.
So what are we set? It's called Barbarian. Is it set like modern times? Is it old
it is
war
set...
barbarian times?
No. Well, funny enough, the title doesn't. It plays into a character.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. But like, it's well. I'll just tell you. I watched the film, and then I watched it again with the commentary, because I actually enjoyed it that much. And hearing Zach Kreger, who's the filmmaker, he's also an actor, writer. He's been an actor for most of his career, from what I can see.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like his first solo, like written and directed effort.
Yeah.
And like from the commentary, he talks about male privilege. I'll just give it. It starts out. You basically got young woman, played by Georgina Campbell. I've never seen her in anything else. Great actress. She's going to this Airbnb. She's in this dodgy neighborhood in Detroit.
Barbarian B&B. Anyway, that's fine.
Yes, Barbarian B&B. Check it on hotels.com. No, she turns up. Yeah, lastminute.com. She checked. Fuck's sake.
What do you expect last minute? You got fucking barbarians, you got fucking Pennywise here, like you don't get no fucking quality.
She turns up at this Airbnb, and I think that's like the synopsis says, like things are not what they appear to be. And but she shows up there, she's got like a key code, and the key's already taken out, right? Initially I was just like, oh, you're like, well, you don't, someone's already in there, fuck that sort of thing, right? Vibe.
Yeah.
She goes back in her car, sees a light turn on in the Airbnb, and then she goes, knocks on the door. It's Bill Skarsgård. All right. And initially, like, you're like, all right, it's a creepy vibe, don't know what's going on here. But like the director explains, like, the male privilege thing, and like how some social like situations are like, you don't see it, or he tried to portray it through the female gaze, and like how men come across sometimes.
I bet we look fucking mental, mate.
Well, yeah,
of a woman, like, what is he doing?
Yeah, and there's a lot of that, and I don't want to say, it's clearly there's some misdirection in a way, but yeah, just as the film goes on, it unravels itself, and it's a ride. And yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Really, it's
definitely on my list to check out. Didn't know it was streaming anywhere. I mean, even if I've got to rent it or buy it. By the way, Barbie is out now to rent and buy. So Barbarian. Fuck you, Barbenheimer. I'm doing Barbarian. There it is. There's Barbie. There's my night planned right after I get off of this.
Nazi Barbie.
Yeah. Absolutely. Barbarian. You heard it here first, folks.
Barbarian, but there's some great filmmaking, some great performances all around. The less I say about Justin Long, the better, really.
He's probably not in it that long, I guess.
No, he's
always that dude where they get like a slightly famous actor and they put him in there and then they fucking murk him right early on.
Well,
don't answer.
No. Well, the funny thing is, right, this is testament to how good it was. Like, I was literally like to the point where I'm like, so when the fuck is Justin Long going to show up in this thing? Because you literally, got a couple of characters initially.
Yeah.
And then, moments after that thought came to mind, he shows up in an interesting fashion.
Did he come in as Brandon St. Randy from Zack and Miri Make a Porno? You better shut your mouth before I fuck it.
They say that there could be some elements of that character or characters that he portrayed that might be, attributed to his character, but in a different way. But again, less to say about. But like, I know you're a Double Toasted fan. I literally just saw an interview this afternoon with Zach Kreger on there with
Oh, nice.
Corey.
They've done a
definitely
review
watch it
for
after you've
Exorcist
watched
3.
the film.
Yeah, of course. I won't check out the review before I watch it.
No,
but yeah, they just did a bad movie retrospective on The Exorcist 2 or 3. I can't remember which one.
Guess two.
Yeah, I think 2. I've heard another. I've seen a lot of chatter this week online about like how 3's like really like underrated and really good. But yeah, definitely going to be checking out Barbarian. Going to check out the Double Toasted. Go and watch Double Toasted, everyone. You want some real fucking funny reviewers?
Like they
don't need us to support them, but whatever. Like I just,
yeah,
it's good to be good.
Properly.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's some good stuff. You got a rating for Barbarian?
Yeah, I was trying to think of how I can rate it without,
yeah,
I could use without. I'm just gonna say 4 out of 5. Airbnb. Fucking hand towels.
4 out of 5 on Trivago.com. There you go.
It would be 5, but there's some things again like they're like nitpicky sort of things, but also in the scheme of things, there's some plot. I want to say plot holes, just some questions, but at the same time, I kind of like again the ambiguity of some of these elements. But
you might very well like It Lives Inside more than I did then, because that's got ambiguity out the arsehole. So.
Yeah, there's a fine line. Sometimes there's being like far too vague and leaving it to interpretation, but like in a lazy way. They're just like,
don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not like some fucking brain dead idiot who needs everything just like spoon fed. But like you say, there's a line, and sometimes you want it vague, and sometimes I just need it, just shoved in my face, fist first or whatever. But who knows? The heart wants what the heart wants.
But yeah, I definitely you want something suspenseful or something, it's a visceral. Barbarian is the one.
Yeah.
One of the best.
Not at all what I was expecting. I heard the title Barbarian. I'm like, oh, this is going to be set like in like it's going to be like old, like this is going to be like a Valhalla Rising type of fucking,
like Conan.
Well, not like an action fantasy kind of situation, but something that was very much more, period set, like a dark kind of like historical kind of situation with some chills and thrills thrown in for good measure. But that's just me just taking the fucking title at face value. What can you do?
We'll definitely talk about it once you've
absolutely.
But yeah, do you want to?
I do. I want to talk about faces. I want to talk about body parts. I want to talk about body horror. Because we want to do some recommendations.
We do indeed. We want to recommend our favourite David Cronenberg films.
We're going to talk about David Cronenberg this week, everyone, because we done some like supernatural ghosty ones. We did like some slashers. We've tried to like touch on a little bit of everything. And this week we're like, let's do some body horror. Let's do some David Cronenberg. I thought it was his birthday. I don't know why, but I just had it in my head. I was like, we said we were going to talk about David Cronenberg. Is it his birthday? Did he say something in the news? Did he do anything? No, he's just that fucking good.
He is. But before we do that,
we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're coming back with some David Cronenberg.
All right. In a bit.
Frank, right here, and when it comes out, you brain it with that axe.
Oh, Jesus!
Good night.
Excuse me, indulge me in a little bit of fun. Here we go. Whoa! Someone get me down from here. Let's get back to the movie.
Getting my inside scooped out tickles me.
That's disgusting. My ear. No.
And now, from deep within the catacombs beneath our studio, here is your master of ceremonies.
You would notice, everyone, if you're watching, which you should be, there is a fly clip in there. Goldblum and Gina Davis. It's Gina Davis. And he's so casual, just like, this is pretty gross. Oh, there goes an ear. Like, okay, fun stuff. Yeah, but I don't know 100% sure what your Cronenberg pick is going to be. Are you going first? Am I going first? How are we doing this?
I'll let you go first because I got a couple working. Yeah, you really should have fucking established what that was.
We could establish, but who wants to establish things?
I'm gonna guess. Is yours the fly?
No, I was gonna. I was like, that's too easy.
It's Videodrome.
No, because you said you might do Videodrome, so I was like, okay, I won't do Videodrome because you know Videodrome better than me. I just like it casually. But no, we're gonna fast forward past The Fly, past Videodrome, past Existence, or Eraserhead, whichever one of those other ones that he did. I don't know which one's which.
That's David Lynch.
Is that David Lynch?
Yeah, Existence is
Cronenberg. And
that's like
Eraserhead. I get them mixed up because they start with an E, and my alphabetical brain.
Very different films.
Anyway,
what
we are going to talk about a lesser known, lesser appreciated, because David Cronenberg is known for the horror of the body horror, gross, nasty stuff, your body doing stuff that it shouldn't or doesn't want to be doing, and that's generally what people think about. However, what about, instead of horror of the body, we're talking about horror of the mind. We're talking about a history of violence.
Of course. Right.
Okay.
It is.
And this is 2005. It's listed as an action thriller. I think it's very scary and very creepy and very unsettling in its own ways. And I think it's very effective at doing those things. It's an adaptation of a 1997 graphic novel, which was written by, John Wagner and drawn by Vince Locke, which was a sub imprint of Vertigo, which is a sub imprint of DC, whatever. It's based on a comic book or a graphic novel, as David Cronenberg probably wants to call it. Starring Viggo Mortensen, and it's got I couldn't remember if it was Ed Harris or William Hurt that was in this movie, because again, I always get those two guys mixed up because they're just like gnarly old dudes, sometimes bald, sometimes have a moustache, right? Anyway, so I was trying to think of it. They're both in this movie, so you get fucking double you gnarly old fucking dudes. They are both in this, both fantastic. Viggo Mortensen, this is right off the back of Lord of the Rings, and we've talked about this before, how like some of those actors kind of, I don't want to say they struggle to find other work, because I get the impression that they weren't really looking or they weren't pushing as hard for the other work. I guess if you're filming in fucking New Zealand for like 3 years straight, you're like, I've had enough for a little while. I'm probably making enough money off the residuals of the extended DVD box set or whatever that I don't need to do everything. So Viggo Mortensen, what a standout from those movies, not really known for a whole load else. So in
Texas Chainsaw 3,
he's in one of those, but nobody says, oh yeah, Viggo Mortensen from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. You can have my sword, my bow, my axe, my chainsaw, whatever. That's fine. So yeah, he's just a regular family man living in a small town, works at a diner, but is he just a regular family man? Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but chances are, if you have to ask that question, He probably might not be, right? So anyway, he's working at a diner, he's pouring coffee, he's serving key lime pie or whatever the fuck it is, and there's a fucking bust, like some dudes, they want to come and rob this place, they want to shoot it up. These very unpleasant dudes, okay? And just regular old family man, Viggo Mortensen, he's like, I'm not having that. Anyway, he deals with this situation in ways that no regular family man probably could be able to deal with. All right. And then it just brings up this question of like, who are we? What are we? What we present on the outside? Not necessarily what we have on the inside. How well do you know your family, your friends, your husbands, your wives? You could be sleeping next to somebody and, you know, you could know everything about them, but also nothing about them. And sorry, everyone, if you're getting blue balls today, because we're talking about a lot of movies where we can't really get into it, because if we want you to see these things, and we do, that's why we recommend them, then we want you to go and see them. We don't want to ruin all of this shit. Okay. What I will say is that even though it is sort of like horror of the mind and sort of the ego and the personality, make no mistake, there's some body horror shit in this, you know, and it's not sci-fi weird, you know, fly Videodrome sliding body parts and BDSM and stuff. This is just like, you know, this is like real violence. This is like gun violence and gang violence and, like, you know, human on human kind of, you know, combative kind of violence. But you're seeing it in a different way. You're seeing it through the eyes of, you know, just these regular people. And it's like, who are didn't even know that other humans were capable of doing some of this stuff, you know? So old Vigo, he's had this traumatic experience at work. Now he's got to re-examine and rediscover who he is, as well as, like, you know, his family trying to figure out if they still even know him, like, because this dude, he's on the news now, you know, he's a fucking savage killer, you know, he's fucking murking diner robbers left, right, and center. Is he John Wick in disguise? You know, is he who he says he is? Does he even know who he is? Is he aware of, like, just how deep, you know, these issues go, these skills, you know, and all these, like, these tendencies. You've seen this movie, right, George?
I have. I've only seen it once. It is the least, watched Cronenberg out of all the ones I've seen. But
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It's definitely, like, less on the body horror, more like you say, psychological. A lot of, like, you know, moral. There's always, like, a moral, you know, questions. There's so many questions get brought up from, you know, Cronenberg films.
Like, is it Ed Harris or William Hurt?
See, for me, I always know who the fuck Ed Harris is, because he was in Creepshow and he was in Night Riders, which is another Romero film. Which is,
but I swear they look the same, man. And I know one of them is the bad guy in The Rock with Nicolas Cage, right? One of them's that guy.
I haven't seen that film.
And then one of them is, and then the other one is Thunderbolt Ross in The Incredible Hulk. Or maybe it's the same one or different one.
That's William Hurt, right?
That's William Hurt, yeah. And then I think Ed Harris is the bad guy in The Rock. But anyway, they could be the same bloke. I wouldn't know. But yeah. This is some different Cronenberg flavor, slightly. Like I said, it does still have enough of the other stuff. If you're just a Cronenberg fan and you're going in for that, they sprinkle enough of it in there where, like, it'll keep your gorehounds, like, fed, you know, whilst you're also going on this existential journey or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's this fantastic movie. Great music by Howard Shore.
Legend.
Absolutely. This was in the contention for Palme d'Or at Cannes Film Festival 2005. You know, so this is like elevated, but also it's not like full of itself. You know, it's a very simple, you know, small town family drama, you know, with some heavy shit, both mentally and physically going on. Nice brisk movie. It's like 96 minutes. It's not like too long.
Don't overstay as well. No.
Does not overstay its welcome. Made 61 million off of a $32 million budget, so that's pretty good. For what it is. And again, probably a lot of that is probably off the name of Viggo Mortensen, who, you know, a lot of people were hungry for that dude after those movies came out, and this is a completely different side of it. He plays this role really well, by the way. You know, he's definitely like believable. He's like a small town, everyday family man, but also, you know, you could also look at him and be like, I do not buy that that's a small town, everyday family man for the one fucking second. And you could go either way. You know, he's got that cute crooked smile and his little floppy fringe and his rolled up blue shirt sleeves, and you know, and then shit gets real and shit goes down and you go on a journey. So that's my recommendation for the David Cronenberg section of this show. Boom.
Right. Nice. Man. Well, that took me by surprise. To be fair, I almost certainly thought you would pick The Fly. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, The Fly is like one of my all-time favorite movies, like ever. Videodrome I love as well.
Yeah.
You know, I really like The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken.
Yep. Pretty much everything he did in the 80s was like a hit.
Yeah, pretty much. So which one of these hits have you decided to ignore and then you've gone for some obscure 79?
Well, I didn't know I was going to do that. At 79, you went with The Brood, which was...
Did I guess the year?
Did
I guess the year? You fucking guessed the year. Brains, bitch.
No, I genuinely love Dead Ringers as well. I think Dead Ringers is fucking...
I'm not sure if I've seen that one.
It's a fucking horrible... It's Jeremy Irons, and he's playing a pair of twins, and it's pretty well done with the, you know, the doubling, visual effects of that. He's like a gynecologist, and of course, you know, it's David Cronenberg, so you can imagine there's some pretty... That's
my face did it.
Yeah, you're
as
like...
soon as you said The Profession, I'm like, Cronenberg, you've got no business making anyone a gynecologist. Just make him a fucking, you know, chiropractor or something. Why you got to go there, David?
Yeah, this is, again, that's, you know, one of the few reasons...
Cutting up flaps on a slab.
Yeah. One of the reasons why there's some disturbing shit in there that maybe has hindered, you know, the rewatchability for, you know, myself and probably many others. But at the same time, it's still great. But yeah,
what do you mean hindered the rewatchability? We love the pussy here on the Poproast podcast. What are you talking about?
No, when you see this guy, he fucking makes his own like custom tools, and they're like stuff that you're like, that should not be anywhere near a vagina.
No,
it doesn't look like that's gonna do anything.
Unnecessary.
Good.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio bringing his own script. Like, you just don't need it.
Nah, don't want that.
So that's The Brood. Is that the one, or Dead Ringers? Dead Ringers. And then The Brood, was that the other one?
Yeah, The Brood from 79.
79, fucking brain, mate.
Mate, you did well there.
We didn't plan it, I swear.
Again, like, that's one of the things that puts down Videodrome for me, and it doesn't. It's still like, James Woods is a creepy fucking... He's just a creep,
on and off camera, yeah.
So that's the only thing that puts that out. I still, at the same time, I still love Videodrome, but The Brood has one of my favorite British actors, Oliver Reed, who's like a mainstay in a lot of old
station
stuff. he does ham it up a bit sometimes, but get him to play a mad doctor and a film with some creepy fucking dwarf children birthed from what's the fucking term? I had to fucking look this up because Cronenberg, he likes. I'm not sure if he was in the medical field. I know he. No, I think he.
I fucking hope not.
He seems knowledgeable, but he also, he'd make some stuff up. But,
yeah, because I went in there for my gynecology exam, and he brought out these tools that should not have been in there. Okay, and I should know.
Thank God, nowhere near my flaps.
No, you can leave my vagina alone, and I will leave yours alone, and everyone's happy. Moving on.
Yeah,
how about some scissors for your scissors? There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, Oliver Reed's a mad doctor who runs the Sommerfree Institute of Psychoplasmics, where he encourages patients with mental disturbances to let go of their suppressed emotions through physiological changes to their bodies in a technique he calls psychoplasmics. And one of his patients is this. Nola Carver, what's the fucking actress's name? Samantha Eggar. Yeah. So basically, there's this little creepy looking fucking dwarf things. And yeah, they're running around. It turns out, oh man, I can't fucking. I'm not even gonna go there. Fuck it.
Can't explain it as well. I mean, if it's hard enough to explain the plot of a regular movie without spoiling it, trying to talk about some of this shit and not just sound like a fucking crazy person. And you're like, no, trust me, it's good. You got to see it. Maybe the less you hear about it, the better. Sometimes, and Cronenberg can be, very much less is more in terms of like, information but not as much with the horrible visuals. So, not to say that there's not enough of both for anyone. If you're an upper class, fucking uppity, pretentious, cinema lover, there's some stuff in there for you. And if you are just, in it for the slicing and the dicing, there's going to be plenty of that for you as well. So I think that's why David Cronenberg, like you say, he has had like a successful run throughout the 70s, 80s into the 2000s, because he seems to really have his finger on the pulse of like what kind of gets people like cringing and thinking and all that kind of stuff. Because after A History of Violence, I think like he kind of went more into that kind of psychological realm, because he did the Freud movie, right, with Keira Knightley in it. Is it A Dangerous Method? Which also had Vigo in it, and as Freud, I believe. And then you had Michael Fassbender as the other one. What's his name? I'm not up to date on my psychologist or my gynecologist. I'm sorry, everyone. But anything else on the Cronenberg situation?
No, again, like this, his more recent stuff. Like I haven't seen Crimes of the Future that came out last year.
I haven't seen that one. Cosmopolis, I really liked that. I don't think everyone liked that really. That was the one with Robert Pattinson in the limousine.
I haven't seen that one either.
And he's just driving through the city, getting up to like weird, questionable shit. And I really liked that one. I thought that was a fun little sort of experiment of a piece. But it's still Warpats, who kind of definitely had his own baggage at the time. He's outgrown the sparkly boy kind of meme thing now, but back then it was still a little bit closer to it. But yeah, definitely hope you've all got your pens and papers out, everyone, and also write in the comments what's your David Cronenberg favorite movie, your favorite David Cronenberg movie, everyone, your favorite Cronenberg. brains are frying, everyone. It's been a long day.
My brain feels like it's in a microwave.
Supposed to do this show yesterday, but you know, there is other technical issues. My door was unable to be broken by my hand, and I couldn't have a key. Anyway, I was going to tell that story on this show, but I'm not going to do it. Just know that it was stressful, everyone, and you're lucky to be getting a Poproast podcast this week at all. And next week, because if this ain't enough and you want more, and of course you want more, you're fucking smart people. You found the show, you clicked the like, you clicked all the stuff, and you want more because you know what's good for you. And next week, what is it, George? It's Halloween.
It is indeed.
Did you know that? Yeah, he knew that. He knew. I don't need to tell him. It's the Halloween on Tuesday the 31st, and we are dubbing what we're going to be doing as the Halloween Popathon. Now, we don't know how well this is going to go, but we're going to try, and we are going to stream all day. We're going to be doing watch-alongs with some classic horror movies, maybe some slightly more obscure ones. We're going to have a little list each. We're going to sit here. We're going to put the list on here so it's available for you, where you can stream it. If you want to watch some stuff along with us, you can do that, or you just want to pop in and out, say hi, leave a comment, and just support in that way. That's great too. But if you're really, really hardcore, all day long, Halloween Popathon, that's on Tuesday. We'll put some stuff out on the socials that will kind of give more deets as in regards to like when we're starting, but it'll probably be relatively early in the morning and we'll go into the evening, you know, UK time. So if you're on a different time, then, you know, you better make time. We're not sorry. We don't care. No. He doesn't speak for me. I'm not sorry. So yeah, we don't know how that's going to go, but we've been talking since we started doing the show about like we want to try and do a live stream, and then we thought, fuck it, let's make the first live stream an intense fucking Halloween Popathon. Let's fucking dip our toes in to the boiling hot acid of adventure.
Sounds great.
Anything else we need to cover before we get the fuck out of here?
No, I think that will do for now.
That will do. I would like to remind everyone that I definitely do have hair. It's just the same colour as the wall. It's really bugging me. I hate how that looks. And on that note, we'll see you next week, everyone. Halloween, Tuesday, 31st of October. Peace. Or not. Peace. No peace. It's scary. Ooh.
Pleasant nightmares, friends. Goodbye.